Joji's sophomore album, Nectar, has just been released after much anticipation and months of waiting, but it's here now, and it's no doubt doing great. In less than a week, all 18 tracks from his album has reached the top 100 on the Spotify US chart. Behind his success so far, there's a lot of stuff to break down from the album, from the origins and creative process behind it, the album's connection to his leaked and shunned album, Chloe Burbank, and the so-called Jojiverse from his music videos that fans have been trying to solve. With much to digest, this is Understanding Joji's Nectar. During the development of Nectar, Joji had been staying at an Airbnb with a very serious ant problem. Being keen on details, he had seen them passing food down their assembly line to an electrical outlet that they came from, which he appreciated their time and effort in doing so. But eventually, he had enough, buying Raid put a stop on it. Yet, seemingly as he returned, ready to eliminate them, they had disappeared. It wasn't until Joji opened his freezer door to then discover the dozens of ants dead on expeditions for his Ben & Jerry's ice cream. As he began scooping the dead frozen ants out from the freezer, he began thinking to himself, what would you do for that sweet, sweet nectar? And before he knew it, he started asking everyone around him what was their nectar and what were they willing to do for it. He eventually came to the realization that, at the end of the day, every life form is chasing something, titling his album, Nectar. Just as the discovery of his album title seems unorthodox, he's known for having unorthodox creative habits as well. Joji still primarily composes on GarageBand, the free music software included on Apple devices. It's become important to Joji to keep with the same production chain and aesthetic as his youth, keeping his work honest as he had been using GarageBand since he was in 7th grade. He acknowledges that there are better programs out there to work with, but explains he doesn't like learning new things involving numbers or buttons as they scare him, allowing him to focus more on the music and not the technology. He also still owns the first ever microphone he bought when he was just 16 years old, using it to record whenever he's in the mood. He's never gotten around to buying a case for it and keeps it wrapped up in a t-shirt to this day.
I actually wrap it in a shirt all the time because I don't have a case for it, but this is actually the first real mic that I ever bought when I was 16, and it's just a USB mic, so it plugs right into the computer. I take it around everywhere to record, and it's still alive. Look at that. On that, a lot of spit. A lot of disease on a lot of tetanus in there.
Do you ever do the sock around the mic trick?
Sock on the mic works, yeah. I've done sock on the mic, but most of the time I won't put anything on it. Like, I'll just let it pop.
He also keeps a vintage MP3 player, believing if one of your songs sounds good on the cheapest MP3 player out there, then it's going to sound at least as good on everything else. Joji loves creating both incredibly upbeat songs and the total opposite, slow, sweeping, melancholic songs. This can be seen most apparent in Give Me Love, where it is noticeably a package of 2 songs of complete opposite tempo and mood. He did so intending to incorporate nostalgia by paying homage to the songs back in the day that were once longer and allowed people to have a favorite part of the song, something that is not as popular nowadays. The contrasting moods of the song is also representative of Joji's belief of how, although the world is moving at neck-breaking speed, it's important not to lose track of the important things, such as simply enjoying one another. In the upbeat portion of the track for the music video, we can see Joji playing a scientist obsessed with climbing up the ranks and achieving his goals in an ever-blazingly fast montage, with time just flying by. Once we are caught up, time finally moves at a slower, digestible pace, as just standing before the doorsteps of completing his lifelong goal, Joji's character made a realization of how he had forgotten to keep track of the important things in life, as he had been so obsessed with achieving his goal, keeping up with the pace of the world. He finally makes a getaway, deciding to live in the moment of what he wants to do. This belief had been in part sparked by an episode of The Office with Andy Bernard on the verge of breaking down and reflecting on the good times in his life, wishing he had known so he could have enjoyed it while he could, wittily commenting that somebody should make a song about that, which we can see Joji had listened.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. Someone should write a song about that.
Joji has also been struggling with his confidence in his vocals, especially during live performances. To get comfortable singing live, he thinks of himself as a product, making sure the audience gets their money's worth. He strays from thinking of it as too personal, believing simply that they paid for a show and he should give them the best show that he can. Joji has also never liked singing, but he found himself in a position where his vocal performances were being well received, forcing him to push for vocal performances more. As Joji struggles with his insecurities, he's also a very private person, and respectfully so. His life had basically been documented on the internet for the world to see as Filthy Frank and Pink Guy, yet his privacy had been violated time and time again. In the scenes that appear after the music video of Run and Daylight, we see Joji waking up to a daunting voice, echoing, "Wake up Joji," and "Please hold."
Wake up.
We can also hear a very subtle but heavily echoing piano. This piano would turn out to be the instrumental of Joji's unreleased Love Us Again, but slowed down. Love Us Again first appeared as a snippet online titled Wrong Type on August 29th, 2019, leaked by Alec Exclusive. The track appeared online in its entirety on August 31st, 2019. No official statement on this leak would be made until nearly a year later, with an Instagram story from Idiot Rising that it is not a Joji related song, but rather a reference pop track written for other artists and will not be released, nor was it intended to be released. But this isn't the first incident of Joji's work being leaked. Infamously, 2 tracks from his Chloe Burbank Volume 1 project had been leaked years before, during his Filthy Frank era as well, where we can then see some of the similarities between it and Nectar. Joji confirmed one of the songs off of Nectar was first made when he was just 16 years old, with people speculating is either Modus or most likely TikTok. Either way, both songs are very reminiscent of his earlier works as seen in Chloe Burbank. Joji wanted to make sure the essences of his earlier works are included while moving forward both artistically and emotionally. As Joji grew up in Japan, he found himself heavily surrounded by nature between rivers and rice fields. During development of his early projects such as Ballads 1, Joji would often hole up in studios and meetings all the time with no windows in sight. This enabled him to realize how much he depended on nature or wildlife for his health. This is just part 1 of this 2-part project on Joji's Nectar. The next part will be touching upon the music videos released for the album and the quote-unquote Jojiverse that fans have put together from the several clues found throughout the videos. I didn't mean for this to be a 2-part project, but going into the Jojiverse was a lot longer than expected, and having the 2 parts together was too long of a video. So tune in sometime next week, hopefully, for part 2.